Yo, 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 what up?
How's everyone been, by the way? Yeah, we skipped a week, but that's just the way it is. We just had some other stuff. I think it was mostly you, right?
Yeah,
You
man,
just
it got
couldn't.
freaking hot out here, and I had no AC, and I wasn't about to sweat buckets on my mic, man. I love doing the podcast, but you gotta be chilled. You can't be like freaking stressed out and sweating buckets on top of a microphone. And my cat was
And
going out of control with the heat too. So
fuck, man, yeah. And that kind of reminds me. Yeah, you know where we're gonna go with that because did you see that tweet Edward Snowden put out about how hot it is in Moscow right
yeah, he
now?
said a few years from now they can plant palm trees.
Yeah, and also the first thing I noticed about the tweet were like all those hot chicks, like freely
Well, he's in
out
Russia,
about
man. He may
in
as well
the.
enjoy one.
Yeah, man. I know, man. Lucky bugger.
And he's a
I
dad too
just,
now, so he'll do more of that.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, so what's on your mind?
No, so like over the week, you just got yourself some AirPods Max, right? So we figured we'll talk some nerdy tech as well, because we just do a segue and talk about, I really thought they'd come out last year. Either this year is going really fast. It seems like these things have been out for like a year, but they only came out in like January, I think, or February, right? Or was it
Yeah,
December? I
that's the
forget.
thing. Yeah, I forget too, but yeah, I mean, it's always good to open the conversation with the most important topic, which is, of course, my AirPod Maxes,
Yes.
because out here in Beyond That is we hate capitalism, which is why we always focused on supporting pro-socialist companies like Apple.
Yeah,
Just
exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah, they make it a good thing because they put nets at the bottom of their factory, so you can't kill yourself.
That's right, basically they support all the intersectional talking points. Okay, the great thing about these heads is like I'm not telling you this because I just just to get over some sort of a bias remorse or something like that. But I do like the way it looks in your head. I mean, for a cumbersome sort of I mean, they weigh over 300 something, right?
They're like
Three
600 with
three
tax.
yeah. Yeah, and they also have a bit of weight to it if you actually weigh them compared to a lot of the other headsets out there. But they do for a headset that appears to be pretty big and bulky in like when you hold it in your hand. They surprisingly feel very compact once you put them on because they clamp nicely around your head and overall I'm very happy with the how long I can keep them on my head as well. Just it doesn't actually feel like you got something bulky clamped into your head. I think only complaint I got is actually they could have done better when you actually take them off your head and put them around your neck because the around the neck experience in this one is actually pretty shit compared to the one I already had, which was the Plantronics Blackbeard Go. And I don't know. I mean, this is something that we all experience for some reason when we invest on something very high end and premium. We tend to, for a while, feel that the second best one, the one we cherished or up to that point, just seems to have like a better feeling for some reason. I think it's a part of the whole buyer's remorse we got, but. But I must say though that I got to take a moment to give props to my previous headset, which is the Plantronics Backplate Go. But like for a headset that for that price range and that for ANC because I mean ANC it really depends on how good it is. Of course, this one here, the AirPod Max, this is the best ANC I've ever had in my life. But the plant running back we go for. I mean, I spent like less than $200 on that one, but it just I mean the overall experience it feels like s- in terms of the comfort that particular headset is not only so light especially when you wear around your neck you don't feel like it's around your neck. It's like once you put it on it's like have you gone to like an some it's mostly an upper middle class dude who's reasonably rich. They have those black leather couches that have sort of worn out, but when you look at it, when you sit on it, it just feels so comfy. You know, this guy paid like a fuckload of money to have this in his house. That's just what those black backbeat pros feel like. They feel like that old Italian leather couch that's nicely, that molds nicely into your body when you sit down. But yeah, so and the other great thing about AirPod Max is I'm sure you yourself has done this, is the best thing about AirPod Max is once you buy them, you just go and watch all the YouTube videos that tells you, you haven't made a bad decision and how great it is.
Yeah, exactly.
just yeah, there are tons of them out there. You can go and watch them. All the audio files and all that stuff. They compare the sound and everything. They reassure you that you haven't made a very stupid decision spending this much money on a headset, and that's always good.
I even saw Michael Fisher, who's MrMobile on YouTube, and he's usually like a very like anti-Apple. He's not an anti-Apple guy. He reminds me of myself like 15 years ago, where I would bend over backwards to justify like the more complex phone. And when I remember when the iPhone came out, it didn't even have like 3G. You couldn't copy and paste on that damn thing when it first came out, right? And my first smartphone was in 2002, right? That was a Sony Ericsson P800i, which nobody in America got. But and his headline for the AirPods Max was, "I hate how much I love the AirPods Max."
You know what? I just saw that video this morning before shooting this podcast, because I need to constantly remind myself that this isn't a stupid investment.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. We have to justify to ourselves for this insane price point, right? And I think the worst part about this whole thing was the fact that Apple released Apple Music lossless a few weeks ago, and HomePods, AirPods, and AirPods Maxes cannot do high-resolution audio, primarily because of Bluetooth bandwidth issues, right? They don't use LDAC, which is the Sony proprietary format where they can push through like almost 1,000 kilobits through Bluetooth. They're using, AAC, which is 256 kbps, which is not high-resolution audio. And I looked everywhere, and no one talked about using the 3.5 to Lightning cable wired like I'm doing right now to the AirPods Max, because if you do that and connect it to a DAC, which I just got, it's funny, I think I mentioned this to you. I bought this Audio Engine DAC, right? I bought this DAC 10 years ago for the same price. It was $169 back then. It's $169 today, right? Yeah. It's a lying sack of shit propaganda for their specs, because they claim 192 kHz and it's not doing that. It's giving me only 96. But I connected it to that, and this track I wanted to play, I actually listened to it over a wire through the AirPods Max, right? And you won't believe this. I felt the Max vibrate on my ear, because Apple's got a volume limiter going on the AirPods Max because they have to conform to EU laws. But if you connect it with a wire, there's no volume limit, which is what you want if you want to be a deaf person like myself. But check this track out, man. I've got it in lossless. It's going to go on to the podcast as a lossless track. Hopefully it won't degrade too much on the MP3 version. But check this track out, man. It's really cool. I think it's a great track to sort of just really try and appreciate the quality of Apple lossless music. But check it out. Check it out. Yeah, man. So I thought that was really good.
Oh yeah, and as soon as you started the song, it had that dun 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 dun. For a second, which song I thought you were going to play?
Which one?
Hey, pretty baby with the high heels on.
There's a difference on that. There's a difference on the beginning because this one's a more sharper beat. That one is it's got that. This one had a more of a hi hat in the beginning, but I get it.
You ever seen the video of that song? You know, where
I
he
even
sort of.
Which one? The way you make me feel?
Yeah.
I even know the story about that girl. She got totally railroaded by him and his posse.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, she actually fell in love with him.
Oh,
and
fuck.
then the dad and brothers got involved and said, little hoe, get off. And she I think then she went through some phases where she talked about it and it became a joke, made money. It was crazy. I mean, basically, he's like that was like one of the first girls he fell organically in love with, apparently. But his mom mom is still friends with. She was at the funeral.
Okay.
Yeah, so she stayed in touch with the mom and stuff, but like the managers and all the the production company, they all hated her. They didn't want anyone interfering, and because apparently she kissed him at a live show, like on the mouth.
Oh, I see.
And that really
Oh wow.
That's a little.
Well, as you know, me and my son, we got a podcast going about all the old stuff, but
link in the description.
Last episode was a bit of cross promotion here, but last episode was about Michael Jackson, and you know what? I think Michael Jackson's videos did a great public service during the pandemic when there were lockdowns, because every time I go to one of those Michael Jackson videos and have a look at the comments, I can see that there's a lot of people who are commenting, who's here in 2020. But I mean, that's what's one of the great things about his videos is they hold up remarkably well after all these years, and they are a great source of comfort, especially for 90s kids who actually lived through it and had a first-hand experience of how great they are. So yeah, people are revisiting that stuff after 30 years, which is great to see. And I've been on a whole Michael Jackson
binge,
on a whole Michael Jackson marathon. I've been I mean, for one, I want to do good by my son by having some sort of common interest with him, so we can talk about that stuff, because I think it's extremely important that you have common interest with your children that they're very passionate about. But at the same time, though, I mean, it is something that I don't have to even make an effort to try to do it. It's just something that comes naturally to me. I mean, I can watch one of his videos for hours in a loop just for the sake of even research. Like the other day I was sat with him and we were they had the bad 4K versions now.
Yeah.
I mean, I know, I mean, shame on Michael Jackson estate for not doing any of this stuff, but there are people out there on YouTube doing this stuff for free because they're such fans, and there's a bad 4K version. It's mind-blowing. Jesus
You know why that
Christ,
is?
the amount of
You know why they've been able to do that for that bad specifically? Because you know who directed it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It was Martin Scorsese, right? And a director like him is not going to record on video. He's going to record on film.
Yeah.
And once you record on film, anything's possible to upgrade to 4K. But like if you look at the other videos like Rock With You or anything from the 80s, early 80s, there's no way. I think they did that for Last Christmas for Wham! 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And it just like people were just like, because they shot that on film too. So anything shot, if you look at the entire Friends catalog, right? The 10 seasons, they were all shot in film. When you watch them on HBO Max, they're in full 4K because they are at least HD because they were shot in widescreen film, right? Most TV shows are shot in 4:3 back then, but this was like they were. I think they spent a lot of money on these shows, so they decided to shoot on film at that point. It was kind of a little different from the average TV show, which wasn't.
Oh yeah, and actually going back to Martin Scorsese, that is actually a long form film because what we are familiar with is sort of bad under 4 minutes, right? Which is fucking great.
Doesn't that Wesley Snipes in it?
Yes, actually that's like his first big gag. I think big gig. Wesley Snipes, and it is a 11-minute long film where the whole thing is if you watch the long film, it's a sort of a fantasy where Michael Jackson's involved with like all these criminal gangs. I mean, this actually relates to politics, but I mean, Michael Jackson was, of course, remarkably clever in integrating politics to his videos, not like artists today. But this is about how you can get yourself into bad situations, like crime, and you can lose your ability to get another job when you are older, because you're born into this vicious cycle of crime and poverty and all that stuff. And the whole bad video is actually about how they wanted to, I think, snatch some, like rob someone in at a subway or something like that.
Well, the subway
And Michael
itself is on my train line. It was the first stop in
is it?
Brooklyn. Yeah.
Yeah. And Michael Jackson, who is of course not an alpha male, he wants to fight back. Who wants to fight back from with his peers, but he can't. But because he's sort of timid and stuff, and the whole bad video is sort of a fantasy where he sort of sticks up to.
I'm bad.
I'm
bad.
Yeah. But oh, Jesus Christ! But that video, I mean, you can watch it for hours though. It's just that good. It's just that cool, right? I mean, even if Michael Jackson looks so different from what you're probably known at that point, when he suddenly pops out of those pillars, he looks all white and just different from.
Well, don't you
what,
think?
from-
Don't you
yeah.
also think that the Me Too movement has sort of vindicated Michael Jackson? What I mean by that is that everyone is so sure he was a pedophile, but just recently Rose McGowan went on Tucker and she was talking
Yeah.
about the Britney thing, right? Now I don't know if our listeners know this, but Britney's estate has been in conservatorship for like 15 years. Basically, her dad has been controlling her money. She gets a weekly allowance of $2,000. That's it, right? And she's been forced by her management company to go to tours, and she doesn't get any of the money because they're using what happened like 15 years ago when she had her meltdown as ways to control her from her kids and control her life. And Rose McGowan said, she was on Tucker, and she says that this whole Hollywood thing where you either conform to what they want you to be or you're destroyed. I think that they this country's fucking nuts, man. Like, I mean, I grew up in India where I would see uncles and dads just putting their daughters on laps and kissing them and doing the kind of things that would probably make people squirm here, but with no ill malice or intention. It was just like being loving parents and relatives or whatever. This guy couldn't stop being a kid, so obviously he's a pedophile, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's if looking back at all the stuff that's happened, I think that now we really know that there were greater forces at play trying to ruin this guy because he just wasn't willing to be like what they wanted him to be. And
there's a good interview Michael Jackson did, I think around 2004. I don't think he's a big fan of it. I think it was a British
the Martin
Muslim
Bashir
guy.
one?
I don't know.
Yeah, Martin Bashir.
Yeah. So he kind of tried to backstab. He earns Michael Jackson's trust, and he tries to backstab him.
He did that, yeah.
But you can see that even in that video, there's this one scene where Michael Jackson's got all these underprivileged, sort of disadvantaged kids. They come to the Neverland, and he's sort of sitting with them in the, it's like a theme park ride, like a train ride, and he's sort of telling them when to stand up and when to sit down. You can see that he's tired, but he's sort of physically broken down, but you can see he's so maternal the way he talks to those kids. And then like when they offer them snow cones or whatever, he sort of goes there and tries to fight with the kids. Me. I kind of reminded me of the whole in Simpsons, the Homer Simpson running to the ice cream truck and pushing all the kids out. But he does it in a way that he wants children to enjoy the moment, sort of participate and be children, sort of. And you can see right through it that he's trying to relive his childhood experiences doing that. And it kind of really stung me when I saw that because I mean, this guy, call him a freak or whatever, but there's very little sexual stuff with this guy. Seriously, he just wants to relive his childhood, and he's willing to go to the extreme to be as freakish as he wants to be.
You just mentioned something that could be true too. He wasn't willing to be sexual. So remember that fake marriage with Lisa Marie, and then all this stuff, and it just wasn't believable. And I think that could have been he didn't help himself by doing pranks on the press and doing all and going along with it sometimes. But I feel like the fact that he couldn't conform to like an average Hollywood star, do the Hollywood things of having a partner, and he was just this fucking weird kid, basically. I think that, and they were like willing to like bury him. I mean, that's the problem with this place. There are bigger forces at play when you get to that level.
Yeah, I think Michael Jackson was unapologetically Michael Jackson. You know what I mean? He wasn't willing to just say, I understand that and this, that, and like I can see where it is, all that shit. He just went like, nah, fuck you. I want to be like a kid, and I want to be as weird as I want being a kid. And if you guys, if you guys want to paint some sort of a code of public opinion and create all these optics that makes me look like something completely evil, just be it. Yeah, if you want to call me a pedophile, just go and fucking call it pedophile. You're going to do that anyway, so why the fuck should I spend my time?
Look at it this way, right? It could also be that Hollywood is such a pedophilic place that just making him the pedophile in a pure, like, the narration could be like, he's the only pedo and we're all pure. No, you guys are, this is a pedo racket that is Hollywood. Come on, man, everybody knows it. But they made it look like only he was a pedo and we're all like great people out here.
Okay, projection. So since we do want to go beyond narratives, we gotta sort of apply this to another situation that we see in the political sphere a lot, and that's Joe Biden. Yeah, now I see a lot of people on the right always posting these videos of Joe Biden being a little bit more overly touch and feel with children. What do you have to say about that, to be honest?
Well, the thing is, you know what? I mean, like, again, like, I've seen the videos, right? And this is not it's like 50-50. I mean, I could apply that Indian standard I told you about. But guess what? Joe Biden is an Indian, right? So that so that excuse goes out the window.
Yeah, I can completely appreciate the fact that Joe Biden is not the perfect politician out there, and I'm not a big fan of him, as you all know. But I'd really like to give him the benefit of the doubt about those videos, because I myself have so many uncles who are sort of overly touch and feely with all of us, not just the and they like to kiss you and touch you and all that stuff. And I can totally I just know for a fact that they are not pedophiles. This is just, it's just the way they are. And I'm sort of even glad that they are the way they are, because in some ways we've lost that. You know what I mean? There's too many boundaries out there, because when you see a child, right, the children are not like adult. They are sort of like, the teddy bears and shit are sort of based on them. They are cute. They are incredibly, like affectionate. They are not, they are pure in some way. So I can see why certain, like people like Joe Biden would actually do want to show but
he also had his hand on like someone's breast for like fucking 20 seconds, man.
Yeah, that's different though, right? I mean,
it was a kid too. I mean, it's the same. Yeah. It's in the same videos. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, and also Joe Biden is a scumbag, so I expect him to do scumbag shit, And don't forget, Tara Reid was buried under the, when it came to Me Too, everyone except Joe Biden, right? But they buried her, and she had the most credibility because her mom came on a CNN freaking program in the 90s to talk about it. It's like, they actually made it look like her mom planned it, and like 20 years from now, when he's running for president, we'll come out with the allegation.
That was never going to be. Yeah, so that is definitely the way they handle the Tara Reid situation, Politico, and all these so-called quote-unquote liberal media. The way they frame the story in a way where she is made to look like some sort of a basket case, con artist.
Oh, don't forget, she wasn't a rich person like Christine Blasey Ford. So if she was, she'd get more credibility. But she's a poor, bankrupt person. So you must be a horrible person.
Oh yeah. She's not in that golf swinging, yacht club breed, Christine Blasey Ford.
Predator class.
Which is why Yeah, even when they put pictures of her, they wanted to make sure that you all saw her as this overweight kind of a woman. Sort of trying to
Oh yeah, fat shame and everything.
trying to like equate her to some of those conservative women in the South type of. It was very clear right from the start when you read articles that they wanted you to know that she is not perfect. She has had her own share of sort of scamming people or whatever like that.
Oh yeah, she didn't pay her rent. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. And that's why these people are such experts. They know how to frame the narrative from a very early stage in a way that's so subtle that they don't go out and say, you know what, she's a con artist, but they know how to use imagery and
Innuendo.
wording and the history and a way, innuendo in a way that it's sort of installed in your mind once when you that level of skepticism is already in your mind when you start reading it. But they don't do that for people like Christine Blasey Ford, right? I mean, they would use they would use very separate sort of different sort of setting when they talk about her, because you want right from the first word, from the thumbnail to the picture to the first paragraph to the first line, they want you to know that she's a victim. Exactly.
No, and the thing is with Christine Blasey Ford is that I don't know if you remember that these shit libs were like, oh my god, this guy Kavanaugh, he's gonna be like the worst thing ever. This dude has been voting centrist for the last 6 months, right?
Not only, yeah, no,
He's not doing any conservative shit.
Yeah, exactly, and that's actually, I mean, hats off to the Supreme Court in the United States. It's actually in some ways it shows that the system does work, because when you look at the type of decisions that they have taken, is Amy Coney Barrett and I think even props to Ruth Bader Ginsburg for actually standing up for these people, because when the media tried to give her these curveballs and gotcha questions, she never bought into it while she was alive. And she stood up for her colleagues. And you can see, even with the whole, I think the 2020 election, when Donald Trump had all these ridiculous type of accusations going to the Supreme Court, you can see Supreme Court was pretty rational in how they took each case by case merit. They will never entertain all these wild ideas and conspiracy theories, which means that the Supreme Court, the concept, Democrats kind of did fuck it up by trying. Democrats actually have been more instrumental in trying to hijack the Supreme Court than the Republicans in so many ways, because it was them who started this whole trend in the 1970s, where they wanted to assign Supreme Court judges to get their agenda. But regardless of that, even with 30 years of hijacking going on, Supreme Court still seems to hold strong in how the original Constitution intended them to be, and I think something we got to sort of appreciate that.
But also, like, I mean, I'm pretty sure if you were to take other than like Citizens United, right? I mean, that was like an insane case that people seem to have forgotten about right now. But it's really the root of why all this shit is happening in politics today, because you can just spend all this unlimited money. But I'm trying to look at the dissent of who voted against it. So we have the Stevens guy. Who was he appointed by? Stevens was appointed by, let's see here. It doesn't even say. Hold on. Here we go. Nominated by Nixon. Jesus, no, that was for the 7th Court. Supreme Court, he was nominated by Ford. So Ford's a Republican, right? He's a dissenter. Mm-hmm. So a Republican dissenter for Citizens United, right there, right? Then you had Ginsburg. We know who was Ginsburg. Was Ginsburg by Clinton? Yep, she was by Clinton. Breyer was by Clinton. But it's funny, like, the thing is, like, Democrats tend to also gain from Citizens United, right? They act like it's only Republicans. But both, I think Biden hauled like all kinds of cash this time for his election. He got money from everywhere. He had like probably more than $1 billion. Remember, Hillary had more than $1 billion, and she couldn't beat an orange clown. So I really don't think it's like, they keep saying, oh, Republican this, Republican that. They all benefit from gerrymandering. They all benefit from these court cases. And, like you mentioned this a while back, that just like the Roman Empire, I don't really think, like you said, I mean, these systems are in place and will continue to be this way because that's all they know how to be.
Yeah, I just don't think that it's ever going to be different. So yeah, so if you're like a goodwill American who wants to fight about against America having these type of powers against on the rest of the world, I do want you to sort of look into the history and have a look at what every other powerful nation has ever done. I mean, this is what they do. It's almost as if this is the inherent human nature to sort of, when you are up there, you're going to look after your own interests and the class that represents you. So yeah, so don't think even for a moment that I'm not saying that we need to support imperialism or any type of neocon ideology, but don't for a moment think that just one day, if you actually do succeed in getting United States out of the pedestal out there, and it seems to be happening very fast now. Don't think that the next nation out there, which I mean, from this trajectory, I would have to say China, isn't going to do the same thing. And the chances are that they'll probably do it far more unapologetically than like America would, and everyone else, and it's already happening. So I think that also does give us a sort of a foot in the doorway to talk about the whole idea of why it's a terrible idea to be an apologist to China. I know there's a lot of people out there like Robbie Martin, Ed Martin, they seem to be, and Max Blumenthal, they seem to sort of fall into this trap. But guys, I can tell you right now, this is a fucking terrible idea because at the end of the day, maybe they feel that they need to do this because China sort of calls themselves the Communist Party of China, but China in reality is a hyper-capitalist nation. What that means is that they put the interest of economic growth and above any kind of human right out there. They really do. I mean, yeah, America does that too, and I think some people will listen to me and say, laugh at it. What? They America is not. America is not far worse than that. Actually, you know what? You actually see certain citizens in America. Yeah, you get the outlier stories, but by and large, people do still have certain rights in America. But in China,
it depends on which people we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm saying talking about the outliers. But you do hear the story of the small guy once in a while having a big fuck you to the large establishment. We do this. It happens from time to time. In China, that's unheard of. Never happens. It doesn't exist. They have a system that's completely watertight and perfect in making sure that the powerful and the ruling class is always going to have the last laugh. So
unless you're
don't
Jack
think
Ma.
for a moment. Yeah, 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 but that's the thing though. I mean, when you talk about ruling class in China has a different sort type of a meaning. What it does is, when you say ruling class, you just have the
Party.
absolute ruling. Yeah. And you have to think about that shit. I mean, this is an all-powerful type of an entity. Yeah, and that is by no way represented by the people. I mean, there's a huge disconnect between the people and that situation. So just because China calls himself communist, don't think that you going out there to be an apologist to them at every situation is going to make your cause somehow somehow something that is for the working people. So we have to be careful. That is just my beyond narrative take on this.
I think they didn't they just get rid of Bitcoin in China?
Yes, and there you go, another big fuck you. You know what I mean? Like
it brought the price down.
Let's analyze China's Bitcoin situation. It not only did they try to take down, not only did their actions actually plummet the value of Bitcoin, but at the same time they are also the world's largest Bitcoin miners. They are. Mm-hmm. They produce more Bitcoin than anywhere. They are set up that way. So you can see the hypocrisy in their whole action here, because I can only think of one reason why China is taking this stance is because they are working with countries like Israel in making sure that the global banking cartel it had their interest preserved. So yeah, always keep that in mind to all the libertarians out there.
Yeah, I mean, they can't. Decentralization is like kryptonite to the ruling class anywhere.
Yeah,
Got to be
absolutely.
in control. Yeah, I did hear that a lot of companies were happy that China got out because the price came down for them. And there's only 21 million Bitcoin, so it's never going to be, enough of Bitcoin for everyone. So I think it was down to 30, or even I saw it go below 30 for a while. But let me see what it is right now. It's probably in the 30s right now. Let's see. Okay, it's at 30,991 right now.
Yeah, and it took a massive drop because I don't have that much interest in like investments in Bitcoin. I got like a few hundred, but you can see how it changed. One day it was like 600, the other day it was 400. I was like, holy shit! I mean, I can't. I think I have such a small amount of money invested in this thing. Imagine people who have like
you really should invest
$100,000.
much. I mean, I think you should never do. They say the prudent thing is to not do more than 1%, right? In crypto.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But what I do generally is that I put a very small amount of money every week into my Bitcoin account, and I wait for it to absolutely be low. Then I would sort of whatever the money I put in it. Let's just say it's a small amount I put every fortnight. I'll wait for it to be for my instinct to say, okay, this is really fucking low. Then I would spend that money to buy the Bitcoin and I would watch it sort of go up a little bit. So
yeah, it was at 60,000 just a month or two ago. It's nuts.
Yeah, and you never put all your eggs.
Well, we can thank freaking Elon. The guy had this come to Jesus moment about it being not good for the environment, and then he has no like self-irony about how his batteries are produced. What a dick.
And also, it was, it's also, I mean, if you believe in karma, which sometimes I kind of do, you can see that things haven't been going well for him since he took that decision. Like Elon Musk has been quite lucky up to that point, but now I heard that in China, 250,000 Teslas are going to be recalled now. Wow. This shit has never happened to him before. And one thing really key that you need to always do when you are like one of those type of godlike figures is to never abandon your base. And Elon Musk did that when he actually backstabbed all the cryptocurrency investor because he's the one who propped them up. So the last thing he should be doing is stabbing them in the back.
Well, I mean, they're billionaires. They really have no moral compass. They just go wherever they're, I mean, just think about living that life, right? I mean, we talk about Michael Jackson getting horse tranquilizer, but I mean, the bubble that anyone, I just look, like even millionaires that I know, they live in a bubble. Life is not real for them, and they listen to whoever will pander to them most of the time. And, they've got egos. So there's very few. I mean, I think the cleverest ones are the ones we never hear about, who are just sitting in the dark, really controlling the planet. Not the ones that we hear about like Bezos and Musk and Bill Gates, who is now like bad stock now crashing. I saw him in a clip of the Big Bang Theory today. My friend sent it to me, and I was like, this guy doesn't. I mean, like, he used to come in as himself in TV shows. Now no one wants to have anything to do with him.
Actually, just the big. Speaking of it, because the Big Bang Theory is one of those TV shows that portrays nerds to be so inept in anything, and it's a brilliant idea, to be honest. I mean, I do like the whole idea that they had this sort of a blonde waitress, which I know you have a huge crush on because you saw her fucking TV show on it. What wasn't it? Netflix show?
Who knows, man? It was so insane that I don't even remember the name. Some flight attendant or something.
Kelly Kuko, right? Yeah. She's cute as fuck. Yeah. So they sort of have this dynamic where they try to show that she's sort of this waitress who's trying to make it, struggling out there, and then you have all these nerds on the other side of the condo who don't care about the money and shit, and they're just so from a social point of view they're not very social at all, and they try to use that dynamic. And actually, more and more I thought of, because the reason why I brought it up is because I'm right now reading a book called Surely you must be joking, Mr. Feynman, by Richard Feynman. He was one of the Manhattan Project scientists, and he was sort of the outlier in this department because he had a very working class sort of an American accent, and he was nothing like the sort of the coastal elites scientist who were there. He was a prankster in many ways. So yeah, I'm kind of reading his autobiography right now, and it's very interesting.
Isn't he being cancelled somewhere?
He is. In fact, I saw some of these feminists trying to cancel him on Scientific American for so what they regard as sexist because of I mean, he was a product of his time at the time.
Well, they're going after all these like historical figures because they can't fight for themselves. They're going after Enid Blyton, right?
Oh yeah, I saw that. I imagine that. They've been going after Einstein for a while as well. I think you gotta read this letter Einstein wrote to his wife. It's fucking class. I mean, I would never write a letter like that to my wife, to be honest. But it is quite. I think when you are that brilliant, it just you do have to pay a price.
Yeah, and also the most brilliant people are not always the most. I mean, nobody's brilliant in everything, and but the thing is that the fact that I mean, that's when you know this whole woke culture has been co-opted is when it's just going off. I mean, Black Lives Matter's first demand is to get Trump off social media. What's that got to do with anything to do with like the advancement of black people, you stupid shits? This is the problem. So almost all of these movements are getting immediately co-opted. We talked about this in the last episode, but it's just out of control. It's just insane. Like, I mean, okay, so this even on the political level, they're talking about how like, oh, Russian hacking, and Biden went to the Geneva summit and stared down Putin. Okay, if Russia's hacking American websites, what do you call America seizing Press TV's website? Right?
Yeah, exactly. And actually, when on that subject of Russian hacking, there's a Glenn Greenwald actually put a very good tweet on it because there was some idiot on Twitter who was trying to psychoanalyze the whole thing where they believe that like Biden had the better eye contact, the firmer grip, and the whole thing while Putin was looking away. Are you fucking kidding me? Like Putin, Putin is not only smarter than Biden every way, but he's also a tougher. I mean, he could kill him. Biden. He could kill Biden in less than 10 seconds. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. He's been there, done that. This is one tough motherfucker, and he still is tough. You know, he's ripped to the core even at his age right now, and he's continued to be like that his entire life. And these idiots out there who fucking wear all these pink wigs, and have the Twitter check marks. They're trying to say that like the Biden was the more masculine out of the two because and the whole thing was it was Fox because Putin was following the protocol. He
even answered the questions of the American press, and Biden didn't answer any Russian press. Biden actually came out and said, "I'm going to talk to who I've been instructed to talk to." Like a little bitch.
The typical mafia fashion. Yeah, like he's only mafia sort of behind the closed doors because all he knows is to do the paper aspect of mafia. Like Putin actually he will hold remarkably well on the street by himself even today. You know what I mean?
I really think we avoid World War III because of Putin restraint. The way this country behaves with Russia is just like insane, man.
I know, man. I mean, think about it. Like they had that ASEA Pact or whatever the South. I don't know. It's an acronym, but what it is like propping countries like Bangladesh and countries around the world to make sure that their military is trained, and all this is done around Russia. I mean, imagine if you're like Russia and you see every country in your border having military on your border and moving in closer and closer every day.
Well, Reagan told Gorbachev or whatever that we will never go past a certain line. And now 100 other countries now are part of NATO and encircling Russia. They still have PTSD over World War II, man.
Jesus Christ. I mean, you got to commend the level of patience. I mean, in some ways you can say, okay, you know what, Russia doesn't want to go to war with United States. So of course they have to sort of play this game, and there is an element of truth in that. But at the same time, these people seem like enlightened human beings compared to the way all these neoliberals
What
and
if
neocons
what if
are.
there were Russian submarines hanging out in the Gulf of Mexico, man? This place would go out of control.
Crazy, fucking hell! Imagine that. I mean, imagine if, yeah, exactly. That's what I was telling. Whenever you see all these idiots talking about American soldiers with their hands behind their back, yeah, when their boat got seized, do you know that you're actually literally in the Iranian waters, or the Russian waters, and they were treated humanely, like their boat broke down. They're a military vessel in your water, and you surrender to them. That's just the diplomatic way of doing it, and you come out unscratched. Because I mean, okay, we are not the biggest fans of President Obama, but let's give him some props to that. The way that was handled, that was diplomatic. If it was fucking Trump, he would have probably started World War III on that instance. So yeah, so that's what I want to tell you, that if you're going to be in somebody else's border with your missiles pointed at them and constantly, think about your own fucking house. Just think about it for a moment. Just have a social experiment. You have your house, you have your little, little fences around your house, and if people are constantly, circling around you, watching what you're doing and everything, how are you going to feel? Now put that situation into a place like Iran or Russia, and think about what they are supposed to do when you're doing that.
But they don't care
about
that. It's all projection. Also, don't forget that we propped up Yeltsin back in the day. The goddamn Time magazine actually says Yanks to the rescue of rigging an election. So openly rigging an election, yet this place has been crying about Russian interference, not proven for the last 5 years.
And yes, and some of you might look at it and go, oh, you know what, Putin protected Yeltsin. But you know what, Putin was not really in a position to do anything else. All what Putin could do was bargain with people like this. You know what? If you put me in there, I'm going to give you something. It's a quid pro quo situation, but that is just what's mutually beneficial. Anything else is like an all right fucking, all out civil war. Yeah. I got to tell you though that the way these journalists are trying to be such apologies, they're trying to, the whole masculinity meter that they are trying to measure Biden with and Putin with, it's just a joke, and that's what Glenn was trying to point out in his tweet.
But it's also they have to prove to everyone that we have been rescued and saved from fascism. In reality, I think I sent you that clip about the ice thing, where these people are waiting in Florida to check into the ice facility or whatever. Like it's a welcome thing. I welcome my ass. Like, you know what I mean. And people are trying to give them water, and the guard is saying, no, the rules have not been changed. It's the same rules since the Trump thing. You can't give people water waiting to check into an ice facility. So I think it's mainly just like, the thing is they're trying to prove to the shitlibs that things have changed. Nothing's really changed, if you think about it. But it's like we were saved from fascism. But hey, the same shit's going on. And I think the other day, Jackson Hinkle, right? That YouTuber, he said he sat through this AOC town hall, right? With a bunch of other like squad assholes. And not once did Medicare for All, Green New Deal, or any of the progressive shit she ran on came up. So she's actually gone she doesn't even talk about that stuff anymore. Can you have a more co-opted bunch of cucks?
Oh God, these people are, like trying to play. They're like a cosplay for Black Panther or whatever at this stage. The squad. And you remember, you know what I mean? There are people. There's literally like 8 million people about to be evicted from their states, mind you,
in 5 days.
And all they got a boutique sort of photograph, photo ops and tweets right now. And then they might say, "Oh, it's so terrible. We got to do something about this." That the whole Matrix valve being released once in a while to keep the system perfect. But when it comes to push and shove, like as Jimmy said, the performative radicalism.
I was actually also privy
Nothing.
to some inside Slack messages this week where a bunch of neoliberals were actually talking about the DSA as being part of the establishment. I'm like, establishment? How the hell is DSA establishment? But then you think about it, DSA is actually establishment, right? I mean, not in the way they're talking about, but I'm talking about the fact that they run cover for the Dems all the time. They're really not socialist, if you think about it. They just talk all this shit. Why aren't they going after their own AOC and asking her, hey, where's your fucking talk about all this shit anymore, man?
Anyone who supports Russiagate or the Ukraine impeachment or the January spends too much time talking about January 6th, to me, it's a part of the establishment. And I know that many people of the DSA do focus on those topics more than anything else. So fuck off. Yeah, that's all I have to say about DSA. And aside from the fact that, I mean, yeah, this is probably a bit of a right-wing propaganda, but we have seen what the DSA members are like, what they sound like, what they look like in their conventions. And
there's a bunch of freaking undercover CIA assholes in there who are like propagating, like taking over Venezuela and stuff. I got into an argument with the DSA hipster once. He got all pissed off. He tried to go off on Tulsi because she's so bad. I said, I think he got pissed that she endorsed Biden. And I said, just wait 6 weeks, man. Bernie's going to do the same thing. And Bernie was worse. He got taken out by Grandpa in a debate, remember?
Yeah, he did. And actually, in some ways, I'm starting to see why Biden did win that whole primary, because in some ways, he's the only one who didn't sort of... who doesn't say something and change it the next day, you know? Okay,
well, he does.
In some ways,
like, $15, all that shit's gone.
But he never actually believed in that shit, right?
No, but he said it. We all know he didn't believe it.
Even defund the police. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, right now Biden is in the process of actually increasing the federal funds for policing, especially in certain areas where his interests will be, like covered. But at the same time, you got to appreciate the fact that he went, even last year when all the riots were happening and everything, and the defund the police was sort of a thing. Even then he came out and said that, I don't believe in that shit at all. So he's not the most consistent in every way, but at least he has some consistency compared to the rest of them who just seems to be going.
But it's funny how he will like sort of repeat Trump talking points in shitlib vocabulary, and the shitlibs will think he's actually saying something different from Trump.
So this is all about how you deliver. It's got nothing to do with the public. Because Trump's policies were all that, when you look at it, it's not different from what in practice, right? So even the Muslim ban, he didn't. I mean, terrible word to use line, because.
Well, Obama bombed Muslim countries. Somehow bombing the countries is worse than a ban? But, how did that happen?
Yeah, but even in practice, when he said Muslim ban, he wasn't talking about banning Muslims. He was talking about banning people from... banning immigration, certain type of immigration from, I think 11...
No, it wasn't immigration. They couldn't come here at all.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't come here on a visa either.
Yeah. So, but that was already kind of already in place, right? It's already active. It's in the sense... Democrats themselves in practice have been doing that for a long time, right? So
well, it's also moving the what's that thing? What's that word? Oh man, I can't believe I forgot it. Moving the Overton window, right? So Republicans help to move it a little bit more. When Democrats show up, they don't move it back.
Yeah,
they keep moving it to the right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So look, we have to talk about the biggest story that has happened this week, and of course that has to do with the death of John MacAfee, because
I'm waiting for the 30. Someone said the 31 terabytes dead man switch is located in the apartment block that fell off in Florida.
Okay, so all right, so with that though, so he's been tweeting that for years prior to his death, but now we have to kind of go down the rabbit hole here and talk about the fact that he's been revealing that information for a very long time. Does that mean that by the time he actually got killed, that's not going to happen because whoever is behind it has already taken care of that one to make sure that it doesn't happen, or it happens in a way that's more controlled in a way that's beneficial to their agenda. So,
Yep.
so let's just say, for example, I'm not saying that she's behind it, but let's just say Hillary Clinton
Yeah.
okay, all right, I'm appealing to all the right wingers out there because that's what they,
Yeah.
that's what's on their mind right now.
Well, you're appealing to left wingers too,
Yeah.
so you're being equitable.
All right, yeah, I'm being reasonable. Let's just say Hillary Clinton killed John MacAfee the way she killed Epstein, right? Right.
And that guy who worked at the DNC, what was his name? What was the guy who
Seth
died?
Rich? Was it? No.
Yeah, Seth Rich. Yeah, so 3 people, and also the other people,
Yeah,
Mark Rich,
And
whatever.
35 more people, on the hit
Yeah.
list. Or,
Clinton
okay.
body count. Yeah.
You would think that Hillary Clinton would have made sure that since she knows that John McAfee has been tweeting about this shit, that whatever that gets released posthumously is not going to be incriminating, because she wouldn't otherwise be going there with a mustache to kill this guy if that base wasn't covered, right? So since it's already public knowledge. So I don't know what kind of information John is going to be released upon his death, but whatever it is, I wouldn't be surprised that it's going to be very different from whatever he was tweeting about. So,
well, the irony is, if you think about it, right, I think the establishment has become so brazen that even with the guy saying, hey, listen, if I die in jail, this is some Epstein bullshit.
Yeah.
And they did the same thing again.
Yeah.
Because they know that, like you just said before, like 20 minutes ago, is that this place will do whatever it has to do. It doesn't care how it looks. It doesn't care if it looks like the biggest PR propaganda on earth, the most obvious thing. What are you going to do? If I'm like a massive superpower, the irony is Biden said that. He goes, if you want to take over the U.S. government, you better have some F-15s and fucking nuclear weapons. But at the same time, we're going to punish like leftists and socialists because you guys are dangerous. Weird, right? But I mean, the thing is, like, the fact that they'll just do whatever. They're so brazen. They don't give a shit how it looks. They literally kill people in open, with video recording going on, because what are you going to do? What are you going to do? We have the power, we have the guns, we have the laws, quote unquote. So
yeah, and even if you do speak the truth,
and we have the CIA.
and even if you speak the truth, it's not going to do much difference because you're a conspiracy theorist, and we can easily we got all the professors in the world, with the thick rim glasses and all that shit. People like who's that woman who does the critical race theory? DiMaggio, not DiMaggio. I can't remember. I keep thinking of John DiMaggio. I don't know what her name is.
Right.
Anyway, we got professors like that to actually make sure that you are nothing but a peasant, and we got all the right answers and the responses to discredit you. So but speaking of John MacAfee, now he's an interesting character, as you know, and I do sort of sorrow. I mourn for all the islander women in Belize who now has to clean.
Underage islanders.
They have to clean their own turds now. They don't have someone to sit behind under this hammock cleaning it up for them after they eat very heavily fibrous food. But he's an interesting character. Now I know he was incredibly wealthy at some point for his
he's a billionaire.
You see, I'm not sure. I know he was worth hundreds of millions. And I remember...
Got enough to just chill out.
I remember back in the day, I think around 2008, I watched that video of him on YouTube where he said how to uninstall antivirus from...
he's done his own... He's done... I uninstalled my own product.
Yeah, exactly. And he put a guidance video where he had all these hookers and he was blowing coke. And I watched it. I was going, you know what? Say what you want about this guy, he's living every man's dream. This guy, he got it. You know what I mean? Of course, I wouldn't be eating anyone's turds, but
No, but if you think about it, that's another reason to get rid of him. We can't have all these alpha males, like, misleading people and wanting to be like all these, beat the system, like, live in a... I think he was living off the grid at one point.
Yeah, exactly.
And he was talking about this politician who came to him and said, all right, give me $2 million. And he said, I kicked him out the next day. They overran his complex and whatnot with guns.
That's so I now have a project that I want to go back and watch all the John MacAfee interviews. I know there's one on Valuetainment. Props, shout out to our boy Patrick David. There you go, guys. If you want to see how evil Iranians are, just look at this guy. You will know that these people are not a monolith. They are actually very diverse in every way. So he also has an interview with Joe Rogan. I think a very early interview, but I think I don't think Joe and John were getting along well. There was some shit there, but this is an early interview. It's worth. That's another one.
We'll put it in the description. Yeah.
That's another one on my list that I want to go watch actually. So yeah, I don't think everything this guy said makes any sense. I think he was crazy in many ways.
He's a little off.
He was a bit, but there could be nuggets of truth in what he says. Could be
also that neighbor of his who just died or whatever, and then he was a person of interest.
What a life! I mean.
He did say that he did not commit tax fraud because that's what they're trying to get him back for. He just said, I haven't filed taxes in decades or whatever, so how could I be doing tax fraud? So it's complete bullshit. I mean, he probably knew a lot of stuff that they don't want you to know about, and this was, Spain is a bitch of the United States, so probably easy to do another Epstein out there.
Oh, look, a broken clock could be right twice a day, but when they are right, it's actually worth exploring that for a second. Money. Yeah, because there is something there. You know what I mean? There's something there. But I mean, I do. When I did hear about his death, I was very sad because whatever he was also kind of someone I always sort of pleasantly experienced it. Whenever I saw a video of him, I would sort of giggle or smile, like, I love this guy, whatever it is, fuck off, you know what I mean? I love this guy.
He basically would give you the opposite emotions. As this one last story I wanted to talk about before we get out of here is someone who elicits the opposite reaction of what you get from a John MacAfee. And the Politico headline is, Harris looks to shift the narrative at the southern border, right? So as you know, this freaking cackling hyena has been like freaking, she's got this entire, someone put up a little meme on Twitter where for like 3 years with Trump, like kids being in cages and we do this and we're bad and whatnot. And the moment she came in, she told people to get the fuck out, right? So she's been lampooned by even shitlib media for not going to the border, right? So now she's going to go to the border and pretend like they're not doing Trump stuff. And I spoke to someone from India who is from her background. He's a very close friend of mine. And he told me that this woman, her mother, would not have come from like a low background family in India. She's a Tamilian, right? She moved here in the 60s and she had her and her daughter in the 70s or whatever, or maybe late 60s. This woman, right, is 100 hardcore% Indian, right? She pretended to be black, listening to Tupac and Biggie in the 80s before they were even rap stars. And I think she's got the title of the next fake shitlery. Like, she literally is like a more cringeworthy version of shitlery Hillary, if you can think about it. So I just wanted to just talk about this scam artist who's going to become president the moment this grandfather clock stops ticking. And what are we going to... Because don't forget, Wall Street... brainwashed her in 2017. Well, didn't have to brainwash her, really. They fed her all that money in 2017 because they wanted to carry her. She didn't even win one electoral vote. But thankfully, they got the credit card servant from 50 years and her into the White House. And I just think that this woman, I don't give a shit about Trump. And I hate even having to say that, but I hope he cleans her clock in 2024. I want to see another Hillary meltdown, and then they'll talk about Russia interfering again. What do you say?
Yeah, I mean that could even happen. And sometimes if I want to go a little bit more conspiratorial, I'll say that Trump is probably doing it just so they have more leverage in terms of propping up the domestic terrorism narrative, because Trump likes to help. Trump does no good. Trump doesn't do any favors to the conservatives in America. He actually makes their life more miserable, and what better way to do it than actually give Harris and the Democrats more justification for doing it. So, and also, before I go, two noteworthy things. Crystal and Saagar, they appeared on Joe Rogan. I may make this straight. Crystal and Saagar, Joe Rogan, this is the second time they've done it. It's really worth watching this episode because they actually talk about Amazon in particular, they actually hyper focus on the working conditions of Amazon employees and also other things as well. So, for example, they talk about when foreign companies take over domestic companies, especially after 2008, how they want to sort of question all the unions and the workers' rights and everything else. I believe,
What unions?
yeah, exactly. I think this is. I think I do give credit to Obama that he had a documentary on Netflix about this. In fact, a while back, where he does talk about how a lot of the foreign companies, which he himself has contributed, mind you, so he's a fucking hypocrite. But let's get that out of the way. But he does talk about how when certain foreign companies take over the American companies, they are now slowly in the process of eroding any workers' rights, because there's one particular scene where the boss asks, why can't we just make them work all day? And he had to be explained, we can't do that. In here we have the media and the unions and all that stuff. So he had to be explained this in a way that he understood in a logical manner. So this particular episode, Crystal and Saagar, number 2 with Joe Rogan, please go and check it out. Also, Kyle Kulinski came on Joe Rogan last week.
Yeah, right after that.
Actually, this week probably, I'm not sure, but it is anything to do with Kyle Kulinski. It's really worth watching. Even if you're like a right wing guy who hates the left wingers, this guy is extremely reasonable. Actually, this is someone you can actually have some sort of a overlapping common ground with. So
he's from New York City.
Yeah, Kyle Kulinski with Joe Rogan. Please go and check it out. That's just all. I mean, rest in peace, John. I hope you were someone who entertained me for years, and you are not a perfect human being, especially considering the things you've done. But God, we are gonna miss you.
Yeah, we should do a uninstall McAfee session soon. Just in it'll be like the lighter moment for John MacAfee. Let's uninstall McAfee.
Dude, I've been scrolling. Speaking of it, I've been scrolling on eBay, looking at all this cool shit I can get for my AirPod Max. Getting back to the most important event of the week, you can get these silicone stuff to cover up your earpieces. So if you regret ever buying the silver one, you can actually make it black. You can even change.
And we're going to be propping up the China slave market.
Exactly. Like I hate the white headband on top of you can make it black as well. I mean, we are not doing this because we support capitalism. We are doing it to show how bad capitalism, how evil and toxic it is. This is a whole research project.
Yes, that's right.
No. We're just kidding. Yeah, but peace out, everyone.
All right, it's been great, and I think next week's gonna be good. Next week's July 4th weekend, so it's hot as hell out here. I don't know, it's probably winter now in Australia.
Yeah, so you're gonna. I assume we are not gonna get any license for playing "Born in the USA" by Bruce Springsteen.
Maybe we can put an 8-bit track in there, like a Commodore 64 version.
Okay, all right, yeah.
All right, but till then, we're gonna take off, and we'll catch you guys next week. See you later.
Yeah, take care, everyone. Be safe.